Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of the Market Analyzer Show. And it's May 18th, 2026, and we're going to discuss AI and robotic revolution because I strongly believe the AI revolution is here. It's not going away, and it's going to change everything as we know it. It's going to change our jobs. It's going to bring a lot of depression in the economy. It's going to change how we think, how we do things. It's going to change everything as we know it. And the AI revolution is here, okay? And it's just started. So we're very early in it. But it can be easily missed because just like the Industrial Revolution in the 1920s, it caused a lot of depression, but it changed absolutely everything. So I think in today's episode, we're definitely going to discuss that. And I think from now on, we're probably going to be covering the AI revolution in a whole, because it's changing the finance markets. It's changing the payments. It's changing the way we drive, the way we everything. Okay, it's so basically here it is. A normal person, an average person, works 9 to 5, has a family of 5 or 4 or whatever, husband, wife, kids, and they work away, they come home, they got a meal to cook, they got whatever soccer games to go to, whatever that is. But still in that meantime, they got meals to cook, laundry to do, house to clean. Okay. The robotics industry is going to take away all of that. Of course, at price ranges, and I believe it's going to be like vehicles. You go and you select your robot, and it's going to be like, vehicles. You can get vehicles anywhere from $1,000 to millions of dollars, depending on your affordability and how you can afford them. But it's definitely coming because the soccer games and all the things that you miss or you have to go to and you're rushing because of all the other things that could be pre-made and done by robots is now going to be a game changer. And it's going to be completely normalized. People are just going to go through all of this transition like it was already happened, because that's what happened in the Industrial Revolution. Everybody, most, missed the opportunities, missed investing in crucial, let's call it the picks and shovels of the Industrial Revolution, of all the things that scaled higher and higher and higher. Of course, there was a depression, stock market crash, biggest crash of all time, the Dow in the 1930s. So, but the scale up before that was years before that happened. And it was normalized. People just went with it. So whatever happened, they just continued their 9 to 5 life at their job, raised their kids, did everything a family would do, but didn't use their savings properly. They just went with life and made no money. Basically, those people are the ones that have to retire with no money. They have to spend their whole life living the way the system wanted them to live. Now, by all means, That's how I live, because I'm not rich. I didn't get wealthy. But here's an opportunity, I'm saying. Because, like every revolution, and there's only, you know, maybe a handful in our entire existence, um, it's it's what makes you go. It's, I guess I'm trying to find a word for it, because in the other hand, if you chase this opportunity and you don't do enough research, and you end up missing other opportunities because you're chasing one opportunity that's no good, but the other opportunity was no good, but now is good. It's maybe a double-edged sword. So it's a lot to think about. But I think it's here. And the AI revolution is happening so fast and so rapidly, it's going to be so easy to miss. We're all caught up in the little things. We're caught up in what chip's the best, what crypto's the best, what stock to buy, what things to do, where to go, who to talk to. We're caught up in the chat GTP of all the cool things that are, that give us instant data, instant, calculations, instant things. I can take this show and tell Grok what to do. I can read a script. I don't have a script here, but I certainly told Grok that I'm making a show today and give me a little bit of what's going on in the market today, and it did it all for me. So that's where we're at today. We're at the revolution where basically everything is changing as we know it, and we're just going with it. Of course, investors out there with money, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, $60,000, are going to try chasing this market with everything they've got. But just like the 1930s, blow off top, everything died out. Just like the 1999 and 2000 dot-com bubble, which is far less than the Dow Jones crash in the 1930s, by the way. Far, far, far less. But the dot-com bubble was extreme and devastating. It took down everybody and everything. Of course, the biggest guys sold first. Of course, the biggest guys got rich. Of course, the biggest guys bought out companies that nearly went to zero. So I just think we need to keep thinking about this a lot more. Keep it on the top of our mind, because it's here and we're going to miss it. It's just going to be like 10 years later, and all of a sudden, just like power vehicles came in, Tesla, BYD, all these brand new companies are coming out and basically changing Chevy, Ford, Honda, Toyota, changing them as we know it, because it's a revolution. They have to go with what makes sense today, what costs less and more productivity, cheaper to build. Employees, where's the employees going to go? Well, since beginning of time, we've figured it out. And that's what revolutions are for. But that's what causes depressions, because the figuring out gets done after. And while all this happens, they're going to go to the extreme means to get it done. So that means, let's say, for instance, Amazon, one of the biggest companies in the world. What are they? What are they worth? They're worth well over $1 trillion, and they've recently announced that their capex expenditures is going to exceed more than $200 billion. $200 billion. This is more than the dot-com bubble in itself when the payouts started to happen. This is more than the 2008 crisis. Maybe not as much, but $200 billion. There wasn't too many companies that were getting paid out $200 billion from their bankruptcies at that time. Which leads me to thinking about money, the dollar, the US dollar, in my case, the Canadian dollar. Of course, I am a dual citizen, but I don't live in America. I live in Canada. But it's the same thing. The US dollar, the Canadian dollar, they're both going basically to zero, with it still being $1. So it costs more to spend $1 because you get less for that dollar over time, because inflation goes up inevitably. So every year, things cost more, money stays the same, but things cost more means the dollar goes down. So jobs, all these jobs are going to go down. Dollar's going to go down. Prices are going to go up. What's going to happen? No one's talking about it. It's a big deal. It's definitely going to be a big deal. I don't want to get too off topic here and start losing out what the main topic was: AI revolution and robotics. But I think all of this matters. I think the dollar depreciating, everything going up. It brings me to that CapEx of Amazon, $200 billion. Money is worthless, because $200 billion today would have been probably more than $1 trillion 10 or 15 years ago. $1 trillion 10 or 15 years ago in assets would have skyrocketed today. So, so that $200 billion CapEx is basically not much money today, if you think about it, from when our wages 30 years ago was 30, 40, 50% lower. But the buying power with that wage was 30, 40, 50% higher. Maybe in some cases 100%. In some cases in the grocery stores, 200, 300, 400%. So we need to start waking up, thinking about this AI revolution. because it's coming and it's coming fast and it's coming for most jobs. It's going to take away most jobs. And if you're not ready for it, well, your job won't be ready either because you won't know where to go. Because just like the 1930s, it left most dumbfounded because it changed everything. It changed their jobs. So now they had to find new jobs. But with that transition, they started over to zero. Of course, the government helps. So, where are we today? Well, here I have what Grok gave me. I said, just give me what's going on today, and I want to know the recent. I just want to know some recent points of this AI revolution and how it's changing things. So it gave me this quick little intro. I'll read it. In today's show, we're diving into the AI and robotics revolution. The robotics industry just reached a structural inflection point in 2026, mirroring what generative AI did in 2023. Humanoid robots are moving from labs to real factory floors, with Atlas testing at Hyundai, figure bots at BMW, and Tesla autonomous scaling is fast, growing rapidly. The global industrial robotics market just hit a record $16.7 billion, and Elon Musk is pushing for space-based data centers, which is going to completely be a whole nother topic soon, and even lunar factories to power AI's massive energy needs. So these are the picks and shovels of the revolution, because you need data centers. Scaling down lower, you need silver, you need metals, you need copper, you need uranium for nuclear. Okay, you need another big one is going to be lithium. Lithium, you're going to need that for all the batteries of these robots, of these cars, of everything. Mining, all these things. And it's just moving so quickly and getting bought out so fast that everybody's going to miss everything. So keep reading on here. And even lunar factories to power AI massive energy needs. The revolution is here. And why from now on we're going to be covering a lot more AI and robotics, because this is reshaping markets and the entire industry. So I just wanted to show you this article here I found really interesting. We'll just switch over here. Okay, this is from Tech Dog's articles. Okay, and so we got top 10 robotics companies. So this is just robotics and the top 10 ones. So number 1, ABB Robotics. Number 2, Fanuc. Number 3, Boston Dynamics. Number 4, Intuitive Surgical. Number 5, Figure AI. Number 6, Tesla Autonomous. Number 7, Agility Robotics. Number 8, KUKA. Number 9, Yoshikawa Electric. And number 10, Universal Robotics. So this is the article here. 2026, the year physical AI became real industry. The robotics industry reached a structural inflection in 2026 that mirrors what generative AI achieved in 2023 and 2024. A technology that was long confined to research environments and manufacturing specialists crossed into mainstream commercial deployment at a pace that surprised even industry insiders. Global and robotics funding surpassed $10.3 billion in 2025, the highest since 2021, with humanoid robotic capturing the fastest growing share of venture investment. Figure AI raised over $1 billion in a Series C at a $39 billion valuation. Physical Intelligence secured $400 million from investors, including Jeff Bezos. SoftBank acquired ABB's robotics division for $5.37 billion. At CES 2026, the defining moment was not a software announcement, it was a hardware shipping. Boston Dynamics announced its electric Atlas humanoid is entering production, with first units heading to Hyundai's Georgia Metaplanet for real factory work. Tesla is targeting 50,000 autonomous units in 2026, with 3G or with Gen 3 production underway at its Fremont factory. Agility Robotics Digit has completed over 100,000 Tate handling cycles in live warehouse deployments at GXO Logistics. The robot is no longer a prototype you can admire on YouTube. It is a piece of industrial infrastructure generating measurable ROI, return on investment. The market structure reflects this transition. Mortar Intelligence estimates the global robotics market at $88.27 billion in 2026, growing to $218.56 billion by 2031. So I'm just going to read that again. The global robotic market at $88 billion in 2026, growing to $200 billion by 2031. So that's 5 years from now, they're estimating double. 25.6% compound annual growth rate of collaborative robot market through 2031. 138% annual growth rate of humanoid robot segment, fastest in robotics. 88 billion in global robotic market size in 2026 at a 19.86% compound annual growth rate, and 10.3 billion global robotic funding in 2025 since 2021. Yeah, so that's just a little bit there, just top 10 companies in robotics from this article, Tech Dogs. So that doesn't mean it's the top 10 or whatever. You got to still do your research. That's just what came up when I was searching. Okay, so a lot more research is due here, a lot more figuring out. You can't just go by, oh, this is the top 10 and this is better than this and this has a market cap of this. You really got to know what's producing. You got to know what orders are being placed. You got to know who's buying. You got to know how they're scaling, the debt they're holding. All these things I think is important. It's very important. But yeah, so I'm glad we did this video. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I talk a lot about different things in my videos, and I do some chart readings as well. I do all kinds of things. What I like to do is this kind of stuff. I like to update you on things that is changing as we know it. And it's the AI revolution. It's here. It's almost scary because everything we know today will be changed in our future for our kids. The way we do things, the way our grandparents do things, the way we drive, when we go to work, Let me clock in. All those things. Everything. So we'll catch you on the next video. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.